Chapter 6. The Gulmohar Tree. The Gulmohar tree explores the interplay between humans and nature during a time of water scarcity. It delves into the challenges faced when natural needs conflict with human necessities, prompting reflection on empathy and responsible stewardship of the environment. Do you know the importance of trees in our lives? They endure heat, rain and storms, yet continue to grow upwards. So, what lesson we can learn from trees? It is a general problem. In fact, any Delhi resident would have to agree that it was an unknowingly familiar one. It's just the timing of the whole thing which left us somewhat bewildered, besides, of course, more than a little unwashed behind the years. But first, let me tell you what exactly the problem was, before you get too confused to carry on with my story. Actually, what had happened was that the water supply to our colony had become not merely erratic, but steadily and distressingly decreasing. For a while, people mopped their hot and bothered brows and resigned themselves to the scorching, waterless days ahead. And that, as I've said, was no rare event. The branches of trees drooped with leaves yellowed at the edges like decaying, forgotten photographs. Except, I must add a glorious Gulmohar which blazed its bounty almost obscenely in the oppressive heat. The red glow of its flowers hurt the eyes with their iridescence. In the meantime, however, summer wilted everything else. Birds panted beaks open in a vain attempt to capture stray droplets of moisture. Tar burned through rubber-soled shoes and blistered feet. In short, it had all the pleasure of living in an oven turned to maximum heat. To top it all, of course, our water supply was gradually turning into a mere trickle. We are born fatalists and have learned to bear all hardships stoically. The oppressive heat had effectively sapped us of any stray shreds of rebellion or active protest. So, we awoke dutifully at 4 a.m. to place empty buckets under taps and urge the precious liquid on, not unlike bettors at the horse races. It was only when people got about that we started hearing strange rumors that sounded so unreal to our ears and recent experience that it was decided that something must be done. The city management has done wonders this year. Few power cuts and no water shortage. Water relief to have enough water in this heat. This is the first year that our lawn hasn't burned up and died in this heat. That's strange, we, the residents of C Block thought. We certainly have a shortage of water. Various walks, morning, evening, and after dinner along with fellow residents, revealed an even more interesting fact. It wasn't the colony as a whole. It wasn't even all of C Block which thirsted. In fact, it was just our lane. From C2 to C12, just 11 houses were being deprived of water. Well, obviously, the next logical step was to complain to the relevant authorities. It turned out that they were faultless in their supplies. By this time our water was down to the meanest trickle and decreasing every day, even, I'd say, every minute. The water supply folks just had to investigate more thoroughly. It was obvious that someone was stealing the water in our lane. But how? And why? And most important, who? Duly then, drains were dug. No, there was no seepage, no breakage anywhere. At last, there was only the furthest stretch to investigate, and yes, finally, they managed to unearth, literally, the very root, also very literally, of our problem. It was an amazing sight to see, and one that I will never forget, a sight which everyone present at the occasion could not help but admire, in spite of the trouble it had cost us all. The Gulmohar that I had mentioned early on thirsted like the rest of us. Only, this one was no fatalist who stoically bore all hardships. No, it thirsted, so it set out after the water that wouldn't come its way. No, you'll say, that's idiotic. And it would be too, if I suggested that the tree uprooted itself and went for a merry walk in order to slake its thirst. But that's not what I'm suggesting at all. Obviously, the tree couldn't walk. So, what it did do was to send its probing army, its roots, to venture forth and unearth a water source and bring back essential supplies. Dutifully, the roots struck out in the correct direction. The roots sensed some cool dampness somewhere, so they made for the supply pipe of our lane, even though, I must mention, the tree stood at a good distance from our pipes, say, about 20 to 25 feet away. Having got there, however, the roots obviously hit the hard cement of which the pipe was made. But they sensed water in there. That they certainly did, and they weren't about to give up the battle that easily either. So, they wound round the pipe in search of an opening. Then round again. And round yet again. And again. And yet again. But there was no opening, nor the barest seepage, and yet, the water gurgled and flowed so temptingly close, but so far, inaccessible. But remember, the tree was no fatalist. It wouldn't let even this seemingly impossible obstacle come between it and its life-saving supply of precious water. The roots developed fine hair like subroots, finer than the finest of hair. Hair so fine. In fact, it was able to penetrate into the minuscule pores of the cement pipe, pushing through the wall's thickness until, at last, they sipped the cool liquid and sent it back to their grateful parent. The hair-like roots thrust in and formed a finely meshed sieve that sucked out all the tree needed to grow and glow like the very sun itself. The residents, water supply officials and laborers who had made the discovery were all equally awestruck at the determination with which the feat had been planned and achieved by a seemingly brainless organism. Of course, for the sake of the houses C2 to C12, the mesh of roots had to be cut away from the pipe and water allowed to flow unhindered to reach the residents, but it was all done very ceremoniously, with a feeling which must have been of regret. But, in sheer admiration and recognition of its tenacity, we all undertook to look after and, of course, water the golden Gulmohar, and there it still stands to date, years later, a glowing tribute to willpower and determined effort.